Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. This is a Sunday edition, 6th of February 2022. Pretty free format discussion. I don't have anything major to talk about. I just want to revisit the ARK Invest thesis because over the last few hours I was just going over the thesis and trying to look at my own personal experiences. So this is what I had done during the pandemic over the last couple of years. So the first thing that comes to mind is that my wife bought a car just 6 or 8 months before the pandemic, and it has got only 4,000 kilometers on it. And most of that kilometers was when she was going to work before pandemic. So the car is sitting in the garage, and since it was brand new, I have been taking it for service to the dealership on a regular basis as and when due, but it has not put on the kilometers. So I don't know how many of you guys have got cars in your garage which have not put on any mileage, and how many of you have had new cars without any mileage in your garage. So that's the first thought that comes to mind from a personal experience basis, which matches with what Cathie Woods was saying, that there will be plenty of cars around and there'll be new inventory coming in because due to the semiconductor shortage and other things, people would have ordered extra. And also they have manufactured cars with just the chips to be put in. So the production ramp up coming out of the factory is going to be much faster. So now this thought, again, if we link it with the way the inventory is for the likes of GM, Ford and all, they have got more gasoline engines, ICE engines, and whereas Tesla has got predominantly EVs. So the danger of GM, Ford, or anybody flooding the market with EVs to disrupt the Tesla story is very weak. And if the market did get slowed down, all the new demand is more coming on the EV side rather than the ICE side. So probably the traditional auto manufacturers are likely to take a bigger hit. So this is one thing. The other thing that happened was, and on the onset, when it was felt that there was going to be this pandemic, and at that time they were saying that even you could catch the virus even from the surfaces if you touch surfaces. So on the very early days of COVID, we had this scenario where the health authorities were recommending that as soon as you go home, wash your hands for at least 30 seconds and use hand sanitizer, use the mask, and so on and so forth. So around that time, what I had done was I stocked up on my grocery and condensed milk, all-purpose flour, lentils, and all those kind of things. They're all in my cold room downstairs. So I have enough that I don't have to go and buy those things. The only things I need to go and buy is milk. That too, if milk is out of stock, I have plenty of condensed milk and evaporated milk cans available in my pantry. And the other thing I go out for is basically the vegetables, fresh vegetables. And apart from that, I don't see any need for buying anything as such, unless I want to indulge myself in a dessert or something. That's a different case. So coming back to the question of inventory glut, right? A lot of people, I don't know if I'm an outlier, but I suppose many people would have done similar thing of stocking up on non-perishable food items which are regularly used, and that could probably dampen the demand. And the third factor that they talk about is that the demand is going to move from goods to services. So if the demand is going to move from goods to services, for example, many people have not taken haircuts outside. That's a service. So the haircut business will get started. So the amount of money from your wallet which goes into various expenditure is now going to attract the service expenditure. So something else like goods which have been predominant during the lockdown are going to give way for the services. For example, people, instead of buying pulses and vegetables and other things, may start going back to the restaurants. So that is going to take away the dollars from the goods sector. So that kind of a change is likely to happen. So I buy that idea. And if that is going to be the case, then any amount of supplies that were imported in anticipation of a shortage is going to be a surplus. And that too, it could probably be stuck in the port, and it may come in much later when all the COVID issues are cleared and people are able to just move around freely. So thinking of all those things, I'm becoming more and more convinced that if the Fed continues on the interest rate hike bandwagon, assuming that there's going to be a persistent inflation, then probably after the first interest rate hike, they might have to take a pause because they may find that things are going a bit sluggish, and they could probably put a brake on the rates increase. I was also thinking on the fact that almost 10 trillion worth of money has been pumped into the market overall. So we need to tamp them down. But I saw a few interviews on TV during the weekend where they were saying that the loss of value in NASDAQ and Dow and other indices and also Bitcoins has kind of evaporated that extra fund that had come in. It's gone. So it's no longer going to be an inflationary pressure going forward. If that also, for me, that also rings logical. And if that is the case, then probably the Fed is wrong. And I'm always afraid to say that the Fed is wrong because they have the best minds in place and they have the best data that is available. So I would be a bit careful discounting the Fed altogether. But my conviction on the Cathie Wood thesis is getting much stronger. So when I look at my portfolio right now, I have got 2 or 3 shares which are in the positive. One of them is Microsoft and the other is Apple. All of my other shares are in the negative, and my portfolio is 75% US and 25% Canadian. And in the Canadian component, I have Shopify and a REIT. The REIT is absolutely in the positive, and it is giving me monthly dividends, which is reinvested into units of the same REIT. And it has got plenty of scope to go up because the REIT owns prime commercial property on all the metros in Canada. And what is happening in Canada now is REITs are building condominiums and rental towers on top of their shopping malls, which are very huge. And that is giving captive market as well as added revenue. So this REIT is just going to add value, so I'm not going to sell that. So I'm thinking that probably I should sell some of my Microsoft and Apple and keep cash handy in case the stock market goes down further. I'll have some cash at least to buy stocks that I like. And this time I want to target ARC-K and ARC-G because both of them have really beaten up stocks in them. And both the ETFs have been beaten down severely. And when a rebound does happen, these are going to jump the fastest. So this is what I'm thinking. These are my Sunday thoughts. And if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. It's absolutely free, and it'll help us to get much better guests out here to answer a lot of our technical questions and make us better investors in the CRISPR sector. Thanks and have a great day and a wonderful weekend. Bye for now.